30 minutes will be held in English. That's right, yeah? So please welcome the Chief Product Officer and Marketing Officer of Data Trader. Data giants not only in football, Carlo de Marchis. Is that right? Marquis.
That's okay.
Marquis.
Thank you.
This is Carlo. So,
so, just to start with a bit of energy after lunch, which I think was good, little video. Emotions are everywhere, and that may be one of the reasons we're all here, because this emotion from the pitch to the fans and from the fans to the pitch is basically what makes our day and pay our bills. I think more and more it's true that sport is number one, is content number one, not only because mega deals, long rights deals are happening, 10, 12 years. In theory, the global value of sport rights will increase. I'm not sure in a linear way, or the big guys will have more and more money in rights, in media rights, and maybe the other will have to find alternatives. It's also true that sport is globalizing. So we see all the big US sport coming to Europe, not only in terms of opening offices and media partnership and so on, but they're also trying to have matches here, London, NFL, NBA, and so on. And football clubs, and maybe some are in the room, are going to Asia mostly. Because on one hand, in some sports, when you plateau the growth in your country, imagine in Italy how many other football fans we can have. You have to go outside. So globalizing is good, is a great opportunity. Obviously, again, it will be an opportunity for everybody, for some will be a challenge. On the other hand, more and more content is produced and consumed, more than ever now. Because even if you look at the media consumption in general, in the US, apart from digital and TV, in some years we're saying, okay, digital is more than TV and so on, but globally, and in some cases quite surprisingly, media consumption is increasing. This other chart is from UK, just, I think it's last week numbers. And here you see that even if TV is just slightly diminishing, the growth of digital, and obviously, especially mobile, and that's global media consumption, not only sport, is increasing. It's about more than 9 hours, which seems unreasonable if you think about it, but then you think what you're doing almost every moment of your day, and it's not so unreasonable. So there are a lot of positives, and on the other hand, I think 2016 there's already been a year of records. I'm thinking sport. I don't know, some football players in Germany scored an amazing streak of goals. I don't know, in the UK, the Premier League was won by the incredible surprise. Stephen Curry is doing records in basket. So, La Undecima, Real Madrid, we're just out of the Champions League final in Milan. So it's already in sport a year of records. And with what we have in front of us, Euro and then Olympics, which will keep our summer and the track super busy, by the way. So I'm trying to do a week of holiday in between. It may be another year of records in digital, in broadcast, and so on. I think if you look at Euro 2016 as an event, in theory, what can be new? You have to think about it globally. It's not about, TV, a broadcaster, an app, a website. Just think globally. It will be obviously sport, football, reaching fans worldwide, even if it's a European Championship. By the way, Copa America on the other side is also happening. So it will be a great summer of football. But also, it will be on multiple channels in different ways for people of different culture. So it's again a moment where there is a lot of complexity that can bring a lot of opportunity, challenges that we have to embrace. So, if you look at the players, and this is a bit complex, talks about revenue streams, but look at the players for Euro. Obviously, there are the rights owner, in this case UEFA, with an host broadcaster done by UEFA, who is basically servicing all the media right holders, okay? And the revenues here are the media rights going between. And this is the traditional way the big federation and leagues are making money. It's becoming a bit less true, or partially true, for second tier and maybe even third tier federations. So the balance between selling media rights and activating direct-to-consumer properties is starting to change. And maybe the direct-to-consumer will be more and more the way for monetization for second tier. Because, for example, I've heard in March Peter Hutton, the CEO of Eurosport, saying traditionally they were spending some money on the long tail. No? You would go to Eurosport for a lot of sports, but they're also moving their money to the big guys. So they're investing more in the big guys and less in the others. So this alternative of selling media rights and activating directly is an interesting trend, I think. At Euro, we don't see it as much because football is so rich and they can sell rights everywhere. Obviously, then there are the brands, the teams, the players, the user. A lot of money is flowing to potentially, but at the end also the user will buy something from the brands, otherwise there is a problem in sponsorship. I think sponsorship is one of the areas where we need some innovation, because I don't think traditional sponsorship is working as it was 5-10 years ago. If you go more on the media consumption side, there are rights owners that typically can be reached through the rights media holders, or directly, mostly for those content that is not sold by rights, the fans. And the channel on which this happens is more and more multiplicating. Obviously, we started with traditional TV and press, now then we have the web, then mobile and social. So there are so many challenges and so many players. So what happened is, even the social platforms are now becoming not only a channel, they're becoming media publisher. Because the moment Facebook starts initiative like the sports stadium or what Snapchat is doing, somehow in Twitter, they're becoming media publishers. Still aggregating, but they're becoming more and more, I think a competitor at some point. I think the model we're using to describe what has happened is, we call it the 3 disruptions. It's about the disruption of the consumption, which is, I think, clear to everybody. Before it was TV and pay. Now it's everywhere with many devices, with maybe different behavior for users that have different needs during the day. So the complexity of consumption has directly changed and has given direct access to all players with a direct channel to fans, which obviously before was not possible. That's why the conversation, meaning who's talking to the fans, before traditionally it was the media, that's why they're called the media, they're between the content and the fans. This has been disintermediated. Anybody now is talking directly to fans. Success and partial success sometimes. The third one, which is a consequence and is still not completely activated, is the disruption of production. Especially the big events, and we show you some innovation we're trying to bring in that world, and we're not the only one, but I think we're quite at the forefront, is the production. Production for big events is still done mostly with broadcast in mind, and then you repurpose for digital, mobile, social. Okay? Maybe different players around are starting natively to create content for the new platforms. But the production is where there is still a lot to do, I think, and a lot of opportunity for either the little startup with the crazy ideas and the big guys understanding the new paradigm. In terms of marketing, there is also, if you want, another change that has to happen. Traditional marketing, and I'm sure you remember all of this when you were studying, it's about the 4 Ps. More and more, when it's collecting what we hear. No? If we do a tag cloud of the words that we normally say in sport marketing, we call them the 4 marketing E's. And they are engagement, experience, exclusivity, and emotion. Empty words, buzzword. If you give them a meaning and you put them together, engagement obviously needs to be not only frequent, because otherwise you don't create this relationship with the fan, but it has to be done from the user point of view, from the fan point of view. Experience, more and more You have to connect with fans, you have to create this emotional moment, these enhanced moments that very often are not pure digital, pure mobile, pure social, as are a mix of the physical experience maybe at the stadium and what happens during their lives in digital and mobile. Exclusivity, more and more, if you want to be premium, you have to bring or create, because exclusivity until now has always been, okay, I buy the rights, I have exclusive rights, but more and more companies, brands, teams, players are creating, I don't know, I call it in-house content, are creating content that didn't exist before. And this is very often the content that, sorry for the word, millennials are more inclined to use compared to watching highlights, to be honest. So this is also an interesting trend to watch. And emotion, because I mean, you may have liked or not the video at the beginning, but obviously this is about emotion. So you need to create this connection with the fans. The way we approach this is using a model that is more and more focuses on content, because storytelling and visual and combining storytelling with visual is the way to bring content to fans. And more, I think everybody's saying, I've heard so many times in the last 3 months, content is king. So we're going back to content. I think we focus a lot on the design aspect, the interaction aspect. Now we're going back to content. But context is, if content is king, context is God. Gary Vaynerchuk, one of the US social media guru, used this way of saying, okay, but context is so important. Because if you don't take your content and treat it very well and bring it in the right way, on the right platform, or the right moment to all the users, understanding their needs, it doesn't work anymore. So it's not about publishing an article. It's about taking a story and bringing this story to the fans with different needs, different way of understanding the story and consumption. And that's why there was CRM and big data, because data about users is becoming enormously important, not only in advertising, but also in sport. And connect, making sure everybody's in this conversation is so important. I didn't know what to say, so I said Udo God. I think you understand what it means, even if it's a mixed German-English. And more, when we create experiences, design, OTT application, trying to focus and mixing content creative and the fact that you can have user have a conversation also amongst themselves. This is kind of crucial in the way we are building products now. So analyze what is happening in Euro 2016. I'm taking, if you want, a view of 3 different categories. One, the players that are going direct to consumer, and as I said, not for the live matches at the moment, or the media. Then what happens with the media, and what happens with the social platforms. So direct to consumer, obviously, and in this case, imagine it's your UEFA and you have to design your direct to consumer experience for Euro 2016. So obviously, traditionally you would have your website, your apps, your ticketing. So all these what we call first party and second party platform that you have control. On this one, you basically design the experience and design the content. You are in full control. But it's true that more and more users are using this other way to access your content. So it's still your identity, it is still your content, but it's not your user experience. You're not designing, unfortunately for you, and not are your designers, Instagram, we saw this morning, or Snapchat, etc. So that's why content is king also, because the important, what you have in your hands is your content. And the way you design your content, and that's why I spent the last year putting content and creative people together, after spending another 3 years putting creative and technology people together, so 2 major challenges, because people of different DNA. Putting content and creative people together is crucial, because now the content is not, okay, I've done a video, post it wherever automatically. If you understand social video, and you understand, for example, Facebook now, 85% of video on Facebook are watched without audio, which started with content people which are bright, say, okay, then I need to put some infographics, some writing. So if you look at the smart guys doing video on social now, they do it in a different way. So they need to create a different version on a different platform. It kind of respect the platform, respect the user, if you want. And this is very important to understand when you think about your first party and second party platform. When you go to third party platform, you need to understand that platform. With UEFA, we're doing the newly redesigned UEFA.com. After some years, it's dramatic images, great visual storytelling. mobile version, a lot of up-to-date information immediately in your face, and really different language. It was a big change for UEFA with us on this. Obviously, the Euro 2016 with a partner mobile app. But also, we're managing the UEFA Champions League channel on social, and we started really innovating the visual language. So it's not about posting an article on the website and putting the link, that this is, I think, obvious now, but you need to find ways with infographics or animating old goals of Platini, by the way, and trying to create that language that users understand on those platforms. But it's not only UEFA. So you remember the initial little polls? So teams are activating on social directly. And obviously they don't have rights to show their live matches, which in theory could be natural from a user standpoint. I would go to Facebook and watch my Italian match, but obviously there is a model of rights that doesn't allow that for now, even if more and more people are going to social media live. Twitter did the NFL deal. BT Sport showed the final of Champions League and Europa League on YouTube, but because they wanted to get the data from YouTube. So they don't do it because they're just nice people who want to reach people, they want the user data. And again, data is so crucial. This is a way for, in this case, the Nazionale Italiana Calcio, I'm not sure how long this will last in France, but to go direct to consumer. And I've always followed FC Bayern because even for World Cup, from a club, which a Euro has nothing to do with clubs, except that players play with clubs, right? So basically, FC Bayern and others, who have a lot of players, are so good that they can tell the story of Euro following their players. This is a new angle that, I mean, maybe 4 years ago nobody thought about something like that. I don't think 4 years ago a club would have, media efforts around Euro for their players, I guess. And obviously, Thomas Müller, I think nobody doubted he was in the team, but immediately changed his social presence from FC Bayern to the German team. So at any level, and brands are the next example, everybody's going direct to consumer for Euro. So there will be so much rich storytelling, and we think that in our strategy, UEFA, who's the host, have the responsibility to embrace this diversity and aggregate all the voices. And this is the way, for example, we built the live blogging for the matches. So it's not only about UEFA telling a story, it's about UEFA collecting all the stories and repurposing to the fans. And then obviously we expect, and we already seen at the Champions League final, an increasing live social video amount of content coming from those players again. Obviously here there is a very subtle line between what is possible, what is not possible, but still everybody's doing it. I mean, obviously try not to go in legal trouble. But I think this is enriching so much the storytelling, and that's why the media consumption is going up. Because I can follow my team at 9 a.m. because they're having the whatever white pasta breakfast, whatever they eat in the morning. Okay, it wasn't possible before. So then for rights holders. For rights holders, basically, we talked to UEFA already for Champions League, and we introduced something that is called UEFA Next Generation Services. Historically, host broadcaster provided services for all the broadcaster and media company now that bought rights for an event. We basically created, if you want, a digital layer on top of the traditional offering. So if traditionally you would receive a multilateral signal with all your matches and some highlights, you could take that content and create whatever digital experience you want, and still a lot of people are doing it that way. But by embedding ourselves inside the host broadcasting production, we're able to not only create new content, but also use all the content that is available. Imagine at a match with 34 or more cameras. There is so much video content that is still relevant, but doesn't fit in the little, linear window. Obviously, combining that content with data, with editorial created content, the offer we can bring to all right media holders at a sustainable price is much more than just getting a signal and having to re-encode it for digital. Also because our ambition is to provide what we call a beyond TV experience. Something that's not only, okay, I select the match and I watch it, which for football, with a beer in your hands, if you like, is not bad. But it's creating an experience that take advantage of, the new channels, the devices, and so on. I have a short video to show with images better than words what we are proposing and what is the offering for the right holders in digital, mobile, social. basically this we call this digital service. So it's services on top of the traditional digital broadcast. And it's modular because sometimes they only need the content and then they do everything themselves, or they need the full turnkey, or they need modular, like PT Sport is doing very successfully for Champions League. They integrated our solution as an SDK in their app, and the response from fans was amazing in the UK. Even today, I met someone and say, wow, that's amazing. So it's really something different, integrated in your own ecosystem. A very quick look at I call it near future because it's basically happening now. Apple TV, we are designing a new Apple TV solution for Euro as a demo, then for Champions League next year. It's really designed for sport because very often when you see these OTT services, they are built for entertainment and you have to feed sport in it. This is designed for sport from the ground up. Discovery of content and consumption of content is purely designed for sport. And also it will have features like, with the new Apple TV, you just touch it and you immediately access different views, different content. You can go to the multi-angle, you can go to see multiple stream, have all the moments of the player, so it's really a complete different experience than the one that you normally would have on TV. We're also bringing this to Android TV, not because Android is nice, but because this is 4K. So we have this €750 4K device, sorry, TV with a little device, as wonderful 4K, but we can also do the same, moving, putting data, changing the views. This is really impressive. And also, with a partnership with Nokia also, we started doing VR 360. We have done the Europa League final, Champions League final, we're now doing Euro. This is, in theory, I shouldn't say that in a public space, but we are testing for Euro and possibly launching next year in Champions League. And this is live VR from the pitch with obviously a lot of post-production. And we have a lot of funny colleagues, and I'll check this one here if someone wants to test a bit. It's obviously a demo secret app, so nobody saw it. One other thing that we are considering is, I think Satya Nadella from Microsoft and Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook all went in the same, I think, 2 weeks announcing bot is the future of everything. Because messenger apps are one space in which brands or publishers or media companies cannot enter until now. And it's very powerful because I think in Germany it's the same as in Italy. A lot of people are on WhatsApp. The second screen is WhatsApp. They watch the game, different places, and they attack on WhatsApp. How do we enter the space? And maybe bot, even if it's something that we need to understand how to use properly, globally, it's the way to enter that very powerful space for sport and marketing. And social platforms, very quickly. Facebook Sports Stadium, let's see what they do for Euro. Snapchat Discover, very nice, very engaging. Let's see what they do for Euro. Twitter, Moments, or whatever they do for Euro. I think they're definitely to watch in terms of what they will activate themselves as media publisher. And I don't have time for anything. I'm not saying that. I am at CDM on Twitter to cover the markets. Thank you for listening after lunch.
Thank you, Carlo. Stay for a while.
Yeah, sure.